Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Giselle Entity, and she is involved with the haunt industry. She's a haunt actor, and she also does online haunt entertainment as well. So how you doing, Giselle?
I'm doing great, Scotty. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad that we can have you on. Like we said, I had obsolete on. When was it? A couple weeks ago or so, I'd say. I had him on, and he's your husband, and I'm so glad that you are now here to join me and do an interview as well.
Well, thanks for having me, Scotty.
Absolutely. So to get started, how did you get your start into haunt acting?
Well, for me, my family's always been a Halloween type of family.
Mm-hmm.
So my cousins used to run a haunted house that thousands of people would come to every year. So I
Mm-hmm.
was involved with that. And then I used to be a paranormal investigator,
Okay.
and I used to go to haunted locations that also used to run haunted houses. So during the season, I would go and help out over there. But I
Nice.
actually only worked at places that were technically haunted in real life until I met Obsolete. And then we worked a couple horror trails together as
Mm-hmm.
established characters versus just popping up and screaming at people or hiding behind a tree and going, the usual minimal stuff when you're doing it at a smaller scale. But with him, we actually worked on larger trails.
Nice, nice, absolutely. And a lot of people don't realize that haunt acting, because I've been having haunt actors on, and it's, 2 weeks or so past Halloween. And people don't realize that haunt acting isn't just a holiday, spooky season, Halloween type of, thing. It could be, and most likely is, a year-round thing.
Exactly. There's a lot of us out there that this is year round.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
it doesn't
So,
just end on November 1st or November 15th, whatever date it is. A lot of us are online. We're going to different appearances,
mhm.
different events. Like Obsolete Baby Entity, our daughter, went with the two of us over to see Tom Devlin's movie premiere in Vegas.
Nice.
And she went with her mask. I went with my mask. So we got to see Teddy Told Me To at the original premiere in Vegas. And let me just say, awesome movie. So shout out to Plan 10 Productions,
Nice.
1313 FX, Tom Devlin Monster Museum in Las Vegas.
Nice.
But we do stuff like that. We're going to go to the premiere of Slice tomorrow. That's
Nice.
John Pitt and James Balsamo's new movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be real interesting too. I
Yeah.
don't know what to expect from those guys, but they're kind of wild guys. And they always have a very interesting cast too.
Absolutely. So as we mentioned in past interviews I've had with, other haunt actors, that haunt acting is very underappreciated because it's not like when you think of acting, you think of movies or television or theater. You don't really go into haunt acting, but it is just, as important to the entertainment industry. But why do you believe that the reason haunt acting is more underappreciated than it really should be?
Well, I don't think people understand the difference between an actor who is actually trained and gone through classes and they're interviewing for these parts. Haunt actors are interviewing as well. It's
Mhm.
not just a bunch of teenage kids or random people pulled off the street to work at a haunt. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's some people there that fill certain spots maybe, but there's other people who are out there to actually do the big scare. They're not just there
Mhm.
doing something like maybe line patrol. I mean, every part to a haunt is important. I
Yeah.
don't care if you're collecting tickets or doing security or cleaning up the trash. Every person's important at the haunt. But for the actors who are actually the ones working the scare, you have one shot. There's no retake.
Mhm.
And you have a lot of people, an actor is protected in their role. They don't have people jumping up in their face saying, "You're not scary." I mean, people do physically touch haunt actors.
Mhm.
They push them, they get in their face, they scream at us, they threaten us, a lot of things will happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I had someone obsolete scared him out of his room into my room, and he pushed the girlfriend onto my lap because I was
Oh
supposed to be
my.
in a seated position. And I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this?
Right.
But, and I mean, some people, their reaction, everyone wants to go to a haunt and get scared, I feel like. There's a
Right.
few people who are like, no, no, I hate all clowns. I can't be scared by a clown. But
Mhm.
everyone enjoys the scare to a certain degree.
Mhm.
Some people, their reaction is to swing,
Yep.
kick, throw things. you don't know. As a haunt actor, there is no protection really. We have security there, but by the time security's there to help us, the incident's already occurred.
Yeah.
Or people think it's funny to try to sneak in alcohol or drugs or whatever they're trying to do in line when they think we can't see because it's dark. That's
Hmm.
the other factor. It's an evening event. We're not
Yeah.
trying to scare you at 11 o'clock in the daytime. The sun is already set, so a
Yeah.
lot of things happen that people don't realize.
Hmm. Yeah, and like if you were to say do a haunt at say 11 during the day, like it's not gonna have this. That's why they don't do that because it doesn't have the same effect.
Does not have the same effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people are scared more when it's dark at night
You
compared to
need
during
the
the day.
dark, a little bit of fog kind of helps in some settings, depending on what, scene you're in. But I
Hmm.
mean, there's certain aspects to it. People are always more scared at night. You
Hmm.
need the dark.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is your favorite part about being a haunt actor?
I actually like, for me, especially on the online side, I enjoy the interaction with the other people. You meet
Nice.
a lot of people from all around the world. I mean, hey, I've met you, you
Hmm.
know, you're all the way across the country from us. We're in LA.
Hmm.
How would we have ever met?
Yeah.
Being in the haunt, though, honestly, I like the people who get so scared they look like they're going to fall down. I feel bad when an adult cries like that. I get up, but there's some reactions that are just so funny. And as a haunt actor, we don't touch you. That's
Hmm.
the thing. I'll always say, I don't touch. You touch me, I'll touch you back though. Someone
Hmm.
comes up and pushes, that's a different story. But when Obsolete and I worked in a haunt like 5 years ago, I was in a house and I was just being a screamer for a
Hmm.
while. And then I would sneak up behind them with a different mask on. But before I could even get to them, he popped out the corner. This lady tripped over her own feet. And I was recording it from the house though. And he threw his hands up in the air. He goes, I didn't touch her. I didn't touch her. I'm like, I got it on video. It's okay. She tripped over her own feet. She took one look at him and just dove onto the ground.
Wow.
But it's certain things like you've ever seen, like, who is it? There's that comedian that goes into the haunted houses. It's one of the nighttime shows. And they send through one of the like PAs or something.
I
And this
know
poor
Ellen did
guy,
that with
that's him.
Annie.
It's Ellen. Yes.
Yep.
That one PA, that's what we live for. Every
Yeah.
haunt actor lives for that reaction. The more they scream, the more they run. And then when you have the people in line behind laughing, I mean, that's the best part.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because, like, we went to Not Scary Farm this year. And I mean, it was excellent.
Hmm.
Obsolete is a hard person to scare. I got scared a few times. It is hard to scare him because he knows where people come from.
Hmm.
He finally got scared because this person was dressed like the wall. They blended perfectly to the wall. It was amazing, the costumes. And he took a turn and he looked back at me to say something. And when he turned, the guy was right there and he went, oh, and he stepped back. And I was like, finally. And I even high fived the actor. I said, thank you. This is the 8th maze we've been in. It took 8 mazes to scare him.
Nice.
Like, come on.
Right. And even though like you're when you're paying to go into these haunts, you're paying to get scared. That's what you're paying to
Exactly.
do is get scared. So if you're not getting scared, then it's like, did I just waste my money?
Well, like, there's a different appreciation though. As a haunt actress and
Yeah.
him as a haunt actor, I'll walk through and I'll be like, wow, these are some awesome props.
Yeah.
Or wow, look at the makeup, or wow, cool mask. And like, even if you don't scare us, there's a certain degree, like we still appreciate the work put into the haunt. But
Because you
yeah, I
get
want to scare us. And then it's usually when they scare you on the simplest things. Like
yeah.
I had someone just like, hit a barrel and I jumped and I'm like, oh man, I said, you got me on the easiest thing. Like,
Yeah.
I was expecting a more in-depth scare, but you got me. I still tell them, you got me. Because I feel
Nice.
like they should know, like, hey, you did your job. You did it well.
Right. Especially when you can when a haunt actor and you're in the haunt as like a guest, and if they could scare another haunt actor who's a paying customer, then you really did your job well because they know a lot of the tricks of the trade.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, Obsolete will be looking and he knows where things are going to pop up from. And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, just don't pay attention to everything. Like, let's just go. Let's see what happens.
Hmm.
So it takes a lot to scare him. So I was like, okay, great. Hey, 8 mazes later, he got him. So when we left, I even told him we have to buy the shirt for that maze because that's the maze that got him.
Yep.
You know, they sell about 100 different shirts there. Nope, get the shirt for the maze that got you. That way we'll always remember someone got you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So doing online entertainment, how does that differ from in-person haunt acting? Like, how do you like switch from like physical in-person haunt acting to an online an online virtual media, of your character?
Well, see, and that was the thing. Like Giselle was never planned to be an online personality.
Mm-hmm.
I would still, my a few years ago, I still worked at haunts. I have a 3-year-old now, so I took a couple years off.
Mm-hmm.
But what the whole plan was is Obsolete was asked to join a group on Facebook that was going to be a haunt actors group. And it was people from different parts of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of these things where they said you need a backstory. So him and I were sitting around just talking. Okay, so what's Obsolete's backstory? And we just kept going back and forth. And in the story, Giselle is the woman he's in love with. However, the ringmaster, because originally Obsolete was Gonzo the Giggling Clown, the top clown at my father's circus.
Mm-hmm.
My father wanted me to marry the fire eater.
Mm-hmm.
I was in love with Obsolete. So the fire eater burns down the circus. Obsolete's in there saving the animals when he gets trapped and burned. When he gets to the hospital, I have to tell him he's been removed from the circus. He's now obsolete.
Okay.
Gonzo is no more. He is now obsolete. So Giselle wasn't supposed to ever be a character. But in this group of guys, in this old group, they were like, hey, does your wife want to be Giselle? And I'm like, Giselle's a joke, guys. Like, you know? So we're like, okay, like it plays off, Giselle has her own backstory,
Right.
about my crazy father and killing my mother, who was the trapeze artist. Like, we have these entire elaborate backstories that go to it, and that's where Baby E comes into play. She's
Yeah.
always in a mask because we're in hiding from my crazy father who was going to find us one day.
I like
So that's where, like, I've had different types of face masks. I had a crystal mask. I have a little black lace mask.
that. Mm-hmm.
Giselle wears this sometimes. And, in the future, my face may change again because I'm in hiding. I can wear anything.
Right.
That's the point. I either blend into my surroundings
Yeah.
or, like this, I look like I may rob a bank.
Right. So where did the name of Entity come from? Is that like where's that backstory fit in?
That actually comes from Obsolete. That was all him because
Okay.
a lot of people online are, something Clern,
Mm-hmm.
Clown, Clownski, Clerge. Like they use playoffs of the name Clown. And he was like, well, I don't want to be a clown because in his backstory, he was Gonzo the Giggling Clown.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said now that he's obsolete, he'd rather just be an entity,
Okay.
versus strictly being a clown. It kind of changes the level of the presence. Plus, I don't even know how many masks he has. I just know, the closet is full and then some. And there's our friends' houses have masks that are just sitting there being held for us because you only can have so many masks.
Right.
So he cannot always be in clown form,
Yeah.
So entity kind of works well with the name obsolete, works with, how he said, like, it's how he felt at a time. You get older in life, you kind of feel like you become obsolete in some things.
Yep.
I mean, I definitely can't do the things I did in my 20s.
Yeah.
So to me, it's kind of relatable how he felt. He said, I feel like I'm becoming obsolete the older I get. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how it became the clown name or the entity name. And then
Right.
entity says, are you a clown? Are you, he used to have a hybrid wolf mask. He has a pumpkin. He has, a demonic snowman. It's like, what are you? And he was naming, some masks have individual names, but
Mhm.
after a while, it's nice to have a blanket name for
Yeah.
for the characters, because you put on a different mask, you can still be obsolete. But
Yes.
when every single mask has a name, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and each mask gives you your own identity. So you're like, for example, like a Pennywise, you're your own entity.
Exactly.
Yep. Like Pennywise may be most familiarized as a clown, but he's like that spider. He's like he's multiple things. He's it. He's
Yeah,
an entity.
he switches
So
out.
yep. Yep. You there?
Oh, yep, I'm here. It just
Okay.
glitched for a second, but I'm still here.
Yay!
Yay, we survived that one.
We survived that one. So that for those that don't know, this is our second go around doing the interview because of technical malfunctions. So but yeah, yeah, and I think that and also you and obsolete run Creatures of Havoc. So the last question I do got for you is, do you got anything to promote? Let everybody know about Creatures of Havoc and any social media accounts, websites, haunts, anything you want to plug as well to the listening.
Okay, well, so I consider Creatures of Havoc, we're basically an eclectic group of haunt actors.
Mm-hmm.
I call us a boutique group.
Mm-hmm.
We came from a larger group, and sometimes I feel like you can have too many people in a group. We
Mm-hmm.
really want to keep it still family oriented. We're still in contact with majority of the people from our previous group, and we support all of them. But for us, right now it's obsolete, Giselle Entity, Baby Entity, Gut Muncher Clern, his brother William. We have Raven the Reaper. We have Crispy the Clown. We have Firefly. And that's it. Like, we're happy with the group because we really are a family. So we do have TikTok. So
Okay.
Creatures of Havoc on TikTok. Obsolete and I are just OG Entity at TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, I mean, our main source of getting out to the world is through Facebook. We try to have someone go live at least once a week. If we're lucky, maybe 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
We're always down to help promote other groups and support others.
Mm-hmm.
Christy, Obsolete, myself, we're also in a group called Clowns of the Underground. And that group's been around for probably 8 years now. So shout out to Pickles the Clown, as well as TK Kurtz. That's the manager of that group right there. Very hardworking woman. She keeps us all in line. Now, like I said, we're going to a movie premiere tomorrow night. That's going to be from a new movie called Sliced. That's James Balsamo and John Hitt. So I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
Yes, James Balsamo is an amazing filmmaker, and he really has some amazing stuff out there. So definitely keep in touch with that.
And his cast is, like
Mm-hmm.
just all these names keep popping up, and I'm like, really? How does he know everyone? I mean, even like Teddy told me to. That's Tom Devlin's movie. We're watching it. We didn't know CJ Graham was in there. We're like, holy
Nice.
crap, there's CJ Graham. That's awesome.
Nice.
Lisa Rose. I want to give a shout out though to Tom. He was amazing. We got to meet him, take pictures. We got a nice little, we bought a Teddy figure. They're all custom made.
Nice.
So handmade, hand painted. That's Plan 10 Productions and 1313 FX. Also through the Tom Devlin Monster Museum. It's in Boulder, Nevada, which is right outside of Vegas. There are going to be more characters coming out soon because they just finished a movie called Nameless. That's going to be starring Steve Hansen. So shout out to Steve. He's our brother from another mother. We love that guy. Also, he's going to be in Las Vegas Frankenstein. So some real cool movies coming out soon. Shout out to Mitch and Gore Noir magazine. So check them out. Gore Noir has a lot of cool stuff.
Definitely.
Shout out to Drew Marvick, Pool Party Massacre. Check out their merchandise, drewmarvick.com. We're getting our copy of Pool Party Massacre in like next week or so, and he has a bunch of new movies coming out too. So there's a lot of exciting things going on in the indie horror, community right now.
Yep.
YouTube right now, you can watch the Sawyer Massacre for free.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yep.
Awesome.
Steve Merlo, amazing guy.
Steve Merlo, cool ass guy. It's the prequel to the Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at 30,000 hits right now. Anyone who hasn't seen it yet, I highly recommend watching that movie. Great movie. He did an awesome job.
For sure. I had him on the show. He's a great guy, and definitely check that out on YouTube. Free.
Yep. Free on YouTube. I mean, you can't
If it's
go
free,
wrong.
it's for me, right?
Exactly. You're speaking my language here. Yeah. He did an amazing job on that. So I hope everyone checks that out too. And who knows what he's going to have in store.
Yeah.
I know Michael Moustasas, he has a few things coming out. Ravage Nation's been winning awards across the board.
Mhm.
And he's starting another movie called Achilles. It's supposed to be
Yep.
a spin-off from Ravage Nation. Also, Steve Hansen was in Ravage Nation too. So, but it seems like there's a lot of exciting things going on. So we're going to hit the premiere of Slice tomorrow. Then next week, we're going to go to the Teddy Told Me To. It's the finale of their tour.
Nice.
So I know they were leaving, like, I think they're going to Pittsburgh now. So
Okay.
Plan 10 Productions shows where they're going to go. They have like 3 more stops and then they're coming to LA on the 30th.
Nice.
So if anyone's around, seriously get online and buy those tickets because it's a
Absolutely.
real great movie and creative kill scenes.
Yeah.
You know, you only can see someone get stabbed so many times, but you add a
Right.
little something different to it. Some of the kill scenes, I was like, oh wow.
That's why I like Friday the 13th, because all the scenes are with Jason are really unique. Like especially part 7, you have head crush, you have brush hook, you have tree trimming saw, party
Exactly. Like
horn.
you have to be able to kill someone creatively. You know,
Yes.
that makes for the movie because you can't just do the same thing,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know? And I
Yep.
appreciate that.
Yep.
I'm like, wow, that's a killer movie there. You know, like they
Absolutely.
really
Yep, cheap plug. In my first movie, I wanted to come up with a death scene that never happened before. And it's not a bloody kill. There's no blood at all. But the girl was going to have breakfast, in the morning, and she was killed by being drowned in her bowl of cereal.
oh, that's a good one.
See, it's blowing bubbles in the milk, and drowning it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was clever. It was.
Hey, I like that one. That's a new one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Drowning your
like
cereal.
yeah, I never saw that, and our killer was a clown, ironically. But just put her head in the cereal and have her drown in the milk. Why not?
Hey,
And the
yeah.
cereal was alphabet cereal. So the final girl's name was Sammy. So when her dad came and found her, he lifted up her head to see if she's okay, and the alphabet cereal spelled out Sammy on her forehead. Thought that was
That's awesome.
pretty ironic, pretty I guess clever a little bit, but
I
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and absolutely. So definitely check out everything that Giselle's got going on. Check out Creatures of Havoc. Definitely check them out. Great group. And I mean, if you want to hear exactly what they are and more about them, check out my interview with Giselle's husband, Obsolete, because we discuss some really, really in depth about what Creatures of Havoc is and what it really stands for. And you really won't be disappointed. And I promise you won't even know what it stands for, because it's just, I was shocked by it. It's in a good way. So
No,
definitely check
definitely.
them
Because
out.
we want to be that positive group. We don't want to, we're not the ones causing drama. You
Yeah.
know, mental health is very important to all of us.
Yeah.
So, like we've told people, go ahead, message us anytime. Let us know though. Because
Yeah.
if I get weird messages and I think you're a scammer, I will say crazy things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you say, hey, I'm having a bad day, can we talk? Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but
it's
yeah,
sometimes it's easier doing it with somebody, say like yourself, or somebody that's not a family member or a relative or even a close friend, like that third party that's willing to listen, give you an ear to listen to, and give you some advice, because they're not invested in your life per se. They're not,
exactly.
they're not that close to you, so they're not gonna tell you what you want to hear. They're gonna give you advice because or they're gonna be that third person that you can feel comfortable with, because they're not close to the situation.
Exactly. I mean, I'm a very blunt person. You want advice, whether it's good or bad, I'll tell it to you. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a guy message me once and just let me know that no one in his family knows, none of his friends know, but he's gay. And I
Mhm.
was like, congratulations, at least you told someone. Like, that's
Right.
the first step,
Yeah.
you know? And if you're comfortable telling a complete stranger, that's an important first step to be comfortable with
Yeah.
yourself. And,
Absolutely.
you know, when you're ready, go for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's not anyone's
And nobody
decision
can
but your
force
own.
you to tell anybody what you're not comfortable with, unless you are ready to do it, because it's ultimately your choice.
Exactly. And that's what I told him. I said, you know,
Yep.
I don't know you. I'm not repeating this conversation. Like, you know, your name will be forgotten, you know, like, hey, we can talk anytime, but secret safe with me.
Absolutely.
But sometimes, yeah, I mean, you're going through a rough time, you know, Creatures of Havoc, that's what we're about, you know,
Yeah.
spreading positivity, spreading love,
Mhm.
keeping, you know, that's what we say, support everyone in the haunt industry.
Yeah.
You know, there's tons of haunts, tons of actors,
Yeah,
tons of groups out there, support them all or support whoever
absolutely.
you choose to. I mean, like, we can't say you must support, Clowns of the Underground just because we're part of them too.
Hmm.
But, it's whoever everyone's comfortable watching because everyone has a little bit of a different life.
Absolutely.
Some people
Absolutely.
do different things and they might be a little bit
Yep.
more wild and we might be,
Yeah.
just take you out for a drive sometimes. We've done that a few times. Like, hey,
Mhm.
we went up to like the Friday the 13th lake area just to show
Mhm.
everyone because why not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
And I know, I just so you know as well, I know you were talking about getting me some other haunt actors to be on the show, and we just spoke about having somebody for December, and I am booking my Decembers. So if you like after the interview and everything, we can discuss getting, maybe getting in touch with them or whatever.
okay,
Which
sounds
would be
good.
awesome as well. And I thank you for your time. Before I let you go, I just want to let everybody know to check out everything that Giselle's going through. Check out Creatures of Havoc. Also, if you're watching this video on YouTube, slash that subscribe button. And also like the video, comment, share it on social media, of course. Check if you're listening on all the podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other ones that I am on. Make sure to like, rate, comment, share it, whatever you can do. And of course, Slasher Scotty merch is on virtual merch booths by my merchandiser. Check that out as well. I thank you again, Giselle, so much for joining me.
Thanks so much, Scotty. It was great.
Absolutely. You have a great rest of your night.
You too.
Right,
I'll
bye.
talk to you soon. Bye.
Yep. Bye.